Hey everybody, Sedge here. It's about a week after Halloween now, and there is candy everywhere. I don't even know what to do about all this candy. My kids can't keep up with it. It looks like the Scrooge McDuck vault, but with chocolate and lollipops. I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna need professional help. Oh. Yeah, that'll do. So today, Kirby here is going to help us take a look at one of my favorite games on the Nintendo 64, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. So buckle up and prepare for a little stomach discomfort because there's going to be just a tremendous amount of eating everything this little creature encounters. Here we go. Just a heads up here, we're going to be using a lot of fast forward going through this. This would be an hour-long video if it weren't for that. We're looking at the Wii version, which is very similar to the N64, but you get these fun little Kirby blue sidebars here. The intro, there's no actual dialogue or text in this game, so all the story plays out through these little cutscenes. There, Kirby got hit in the head by a crystal shard. He meets this little fairy who's going to work with him throughout the game as they collect the crystal shards to save Dreamland, which in this case goes beyond just Popstar. One of the really cool things about this game are how the powers work. Now, in most Kirby games, you get a single power, like this, suck up an enemy, and you gain the ability that it had, in this case, Fireball. In this game, you get the ability to combine powers, throw two enemies into each other, or throw a power and an enemy into each other, and you'll get the two powers combined. As you can see, it doesn't always go exactly as planned, but there we are. Alright, we've got Cutter plus Spikes, and that gives us Giant Bear Trap Kirby. Of course, Spike and Spike, you get this fun everything sharp Kirby here. And the powers work in combination with one another, and combining two of the same, as we saw with Spikes there, and as we're looking at with Electric right here. Oh, this is fun. Alright, so we've got Ice, one of my favorites, just as a baseline power. Ice, and we're about to combine it with Bomb to give us Exploding Snowman. Fun, not the most useful, I'll be honest, but it's fun. Volcano Kirby. I know I was excited to see that he can literally turn into a volcano. Seems like he always had it in him. Here we go, Flaming Claymore Kirby. How can you not love this? Kirby with a giant fire sword. Bomb Kirby. This is usually a least favorite of mine, but it has a lot of fun applications in this game. In this case, Bomb plus Cutter turns him into Exploding Shuriken Kirby. Yes. Kirby with explosive ninja powers. And it's one of the better abilities in the game. It's from long range, blows things up. Love it. And then this is another favorite. Firework Kirby. Fire plus Bomb. Firework Kirby. He's just collected a crystal shard. The crystal shards, in addition to being in the title, are actually an important part of the game. Collecting those allows him to fight the final boss in the end. Here we have Stone Cutter Kirby, which sculpts him into some of his companion animals from other games, giving him their abilities as well. Check out that wall climb. This is Refrigerator Kirby, which, interestingly, also allows him to regenerate health, so he's kind of immortal. Not all abilities are good, though. As you can see, Melting Ice Cube Kirby is just not amazing. Sometimes it's actually better to just use Kirby's natural suction and spinning abilities than to rely on some of the other powers. Although, kind of a Bear Trap Kirby. And this we'll be seeing a lot on Popstar, the corrupting influence of Dark Matter taking over innocent inhabitants and turning them into horrible bosses. But once they're defeated, they do actually help Kirby out. Then at the end of each level, he gets the chance to jump towards stuff on a picnic table. Food, replenishes health, stars are good for gaining extra lives, and of course, the cards can be collected throughout the game. This was a particularly fun boss fight. When his painter friend is corrupted, she gains some creative abilities that he has to take care of. Moving on, this is King DDD's Palace. He does make an appearance in this game, although much more minor than some other titles. This is kind of a fun mechanic. Now that he's helped out his artist friend, she helps him out throughout the levels. Oh, speaking of King DDD, there's our giant duck friend now, with dark matter powers. See the fight going on right here as Kirby throws his razor-sharp face into his old nemesis, quickly taking him down. If you played a Kirby game, no doubt you recognize our friend Wispy Woods here. No need for dark matter to corrupt him. He just really wants to harm Kirby anytime he sees him. And with Wispy Woods in the rearview mirror, Kirby goes on to Rockstar, the next world. As we can see here, his yo-yo-like rock electric ability, trying to collect Crystal Shard. You'll find some of these throughout the game that need specific abilities. Double Rock equals Giant Golem Kirby. Love it. It actually increases his speed a bit. Weird, but whatever. Then we see King DDD lending a hand. The Great Duck King is able to smash through walls and enemies with his mallet, while not having Kirby's jumping abilities. Oh, Bomb plus Electricity, Light Bulb Kirby. Terrible ability, kind of like Melting Ice Cube, but it does allow you to see in the dark, which gives you the clue to this puzzle. And this is kind of clever. You do need to use certain abilities to see what you're doing and learn how to get some Crystal Shards. Boss for Rockstar is a display of the N64's polygon abilities. Yeah, it's fun. And with that, Kirby gets a nice little snack before going on to Aquastar, the third world. Here we see Waddle Dee's contribution to the game. He always seems to have something for Kirby to ride, whether it's a box he can use as a river raft, or a minecart, or a sled. Always something. Really likes boxes. Anyway, they get to have this fun little journey together until that happens. Then it's on to the underwater fun for Kirby. I've never been a fan of underwater levels, but Double Bomb equaling homing missiles is pretty fun. I will also point out that Kirby's abilities underwater work a bit differently in this game than in most. He's able to use his abilities normally, where in most games he just sort of sputters. Unless he has the sword. The sword consistently works well underwater. Next boss, the Killer Whale. He gets knocked down, and he gets up again. It's going to take a little bit more than that to keep him down. Now he's discovered his superpower, shooting bombs out of his mouth for some reason. And with his defeat, Kirby moves on to Neostar, the Jungle World. Inhabited by spiders, as jungle worlds typically are. And some Vine Swing. I mean, can't go wrong with that. Kirby Tarzan. Plus he gets to fight a fun dragon here. Sometimes spitting things out works well. And now we see one of his best and most dangerous abilities, the Lock Ball. If you push down, he gets a helmet that keeps him from taking damage, but without him, he gets hit just like everything else. And here's one of those fun puzzles with our artist friend, giving the clue. Oh, the snowball. Pretty sure there's a joke in here about Kirby's chances somewhere. Just like that. He gets to face off against living lava. Actually, overall, it's not a particularly hard game. I will note particularly the last boss. And with Bernie there dealt with, we move on to Shiver Star, which if you look at it, actually has the same continents as Earth. Yep. We are looking at a post-apocalyptic Earth here. Which would be depressing if it weren't so cheery. I mean, look at this. We got snow, evergreens. Very Christmassy feel here. Snowmen? Fun. Oh, yes, and look! There's even sledding! How can you not enjoy a place like this? There's sledding! Not a human to be seen. There are some bits of evidence that point to past human civilization, but over the igloo and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Did I mention I like the snowball? This is one of my favorite abilities. sky, Kirby flies. And I should note in this game, his flying is actually a bit different. He towers out and falls, which isn't usually the case in a Kirby game, so that's something to be cognizant of. Speaking of those little traces of human civilization, we have a shopping mall. Yeah. Guess Kirby's going for some last-minute gifts here. The escalators all the way up the top there. And we have... I don't know what sort of shop this would have been. I guess maybe just like a atrium? The Giant Frog Pet Store. Oh. And Arrowfish. The Cannon Shop, I guess? Not all of these make a whole lot of sense. Here's another one of those clues we were talking about. Gotta figure out which switches to press based on the color of the fruit she draws. Furniture Shop, where nothing has been tacked to the wall. IKEA will tell you that's a no-no. Spiked creatures are probably also not a great decoration idea. The aquarium, for some reason. Because there wasn't enough water in it. With our last minute shopping done, it's on to Santa's Little Workshop of Horrors. On a side note, I love this World 11. I don't know why we didn't get Kirby College sooner. It's just a natural fit. As you can see, we have conveyor belts, stock little creatures that want to harm you, and hammers that want to flatten you. More conveyor belts, with various other horrors awaiting, mostly the spiky or smashing varieties. And then, of course, the entire room dedicated to absolutely crushing Kirby. This is where his lower speed capabilities really become noticeable. Trash compactor Doom, or again, his slow movement is very obvious. And finally, the boss, or what was almost certainly not conquered, the giant robot. Oh! Very different weapon combinations. The Darth Maul lightsaber with the dual-bladed Electro Saber. And with that, it's on to Ripple Star, the last planet, and Ribbon's homeworld, as best I can tell. Darth Kirby moves on, slicing through everything that would threaten him, and puts some definite similarities to the first level in the game, but this one is decidedly more dangerous. Thank you, Saw Mini-Boss, for illustrating that. Next level, we have the sewers under the creepy city there. So, yeah, no water. Yay! Thankfully, the water doesn't last, and instead, we go through this whimsical Tower of Trials, where Kirby gets to take on rooms full of creatures bent on his destruction, and then go up some stairs with this fun little tree in the background. As he fights his way up the tower, the challenges become a bit more intense. The whimsical tree is still there, so that part's fun. And having finally conquered all of the challenges that awaited him in this tower with tree art, he gets to face off against the final boss if you haven't collected all the crystal shards, the penultimate boss if you have. I think this might be called Light Matter, Miracle Matter, whatever. It's the happy face they put on Dark Matter. Make no mistake, it is evil, and it wants to annihilate Kirby. Most importantly, it only takes one hit, 1 point of health, for everything you throw at it, so you're going to be at this for a while. It's not really that difficult, but it has a lot more health than you do, so that can lead to some issues. If you've collected all of the crystal shards, then you get to face off against the true enemy of the game. Kirby is flying off to face now. There's a level of sorts before this, but it doesn't take very long. Anyway, here it is. Totally not an eldritch horror. That thing. The angel, demon, great old one behind Dark Matter. Unlike the rest of the game, this is basically just a shooter. It's an interesting change of pace. Your power here is a combination of Crystal Shard and Ribbon. And you fly around this thing, taking shots at it. Now, the easiest way to deal with it, and what I've done here, is to start by focusing on the wings. Once you've taken out the wings, it becomes a whole lot less maneuverable, which means that you're much more able to land your hits on the halo, which allows you to shoot the cactus growing out the back of this thing. Its attacks are basically little clusters of stars, and I guess flatulence? Anyway, yeah. Once it's defeated, the dark matter is cleared, and Kirby gets his award ceremony. That was a lot of fun. Now, I've got to say, this is a little bit bittersweet for me, because I remember the game actually being a little bit more fun than it was, but nostalgia does that for you sometimes. On the plus side, the combining mechanic for the different power-ups is really cool. It's a lot clunkier to use than I recall, but at the same time, I mean, Kirby gets to wield a flaming sword. You don't see that every day. Fire, yeah. Sword, yeah, but very rarely do the two come together. He's also a little bit slow-moving in this iteration, but you can kind of overlook that. The boss fights are fun, the enemies are varied well enough, the worlds are really cool, going from one star to another, interesting. Particularly going ahead and including a post-apocalyptic version of Earth. Yeah, it's kind of a downer. But hey, it's Christmas themed! So that's not a downer? Anyway, there's a lot of fun to be had here. Overall, I'm going to go ahead and give this one around an 8. If you have an N64, great opportunity to play it. If you have a Wii, the version we actually reviewed here was on the Wii, so great way to go. The 20th anniversary Kirby collection. Highly recommend it. There are some other fun games on there. As always, remember, these ain't your granddad's games. They're your dad's.